No, I disguise.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please, can we start to take our seats? Good morning. No, please, you need to go to the back. Please, good morning. Can we take our seats? Unless you're behind the camera, I would like to see you seated, please. So, good morning, Chairman. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Madam Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, representing the Minister. Good morning, Madam. MD, Nigeria LNG, Tony Atta. Deputy Managing Director, Nigeria LNG, Sadiq Mebonu. The Executive Secretary, NCDMB. Good morning, sir. Mr. Simbi, Engineer Simbi Wabote. Members of the Board of Directors and shareholders here present. Representatives of whoever is going to sign the LOI with us. Members of NLNG management team. The Train 7 project team. They've done us proud. Thank you for being here, all seated behind our directors. Colleagues from the media, wonderful colleagues from the media, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to start. And to get us going, we'll call a representative of the facility managers to please give us a safety briefing. Thank you very much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Maidole Cambo of Security and Safety Department. I'm to give you security brief. If you are directing somebody to come and meet you here, the meeting is holding in Enugu Niger meeting room, 01 floor wing A. That is why you tell him to come and meet you. Should in case of fire alarm, though we do have fire drill, but we don't have any today. If there's any fire alarm, it's real. Don't panic, don't run. Walk smartly to the exit door, take your left. The staircase is by the right and the toilet is by the right. There's an officer by the door that will direct you to the meeting point by the Congress Hall car park. Our fire extinguisher is by the door. Should in case of emergency, you pick the phone call there, tell them your name, the type of the fire, and the location of the fire. Our clinic is in floor 1. If you want to call the clinic, you call 6180. Then the emergency number is 6200. If you want to ask any question or direction, identify our team members with their name tag on their breast pocket. Don't ask anybody except our team members. Furthermore, don't leave your personal belongings unattended to, because you don't know the next person seated to you. If there is question or clarification, you can ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andrews. Thank you very, very much for that very detailed briefing. So I think we'll go straight ahead. We apologize that we're starting later than we said we would. Please bear with us. But straight into the program, I'll call on Mr. Tony Atta to give us a welcome remark. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, my chairman. Mr. Chairman, Nigeria LNG Board, Dr. Osobonye Long John Sealabo. That's right. Sealabo. Our permanent secretary, Ministry of Petroleum, herself a director of Nigeria LNG, but today representing the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Yemi Esan. Welcome. We have the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Content Board, my brother and friend, Engineer Simbi Kesie Wabote, Executive Secretary. Most welcome. It's a privilege today to also welcome members of the Board of Directors of Nigeria LNG here present. I see our own ambassador, Ambassador Wagudu Hirsi. You're welcome. I also see, referred to her as my chairman, Chief Mrs. Agboti, a director. I see other directors, also shareholders. So permit me to recognize them as shareholders because they are already directing a lot of the affairs in the background. I see for NNPC, representing the GMD, who is unavoidably absent, my friend and brother, Engineer Diko. "49% deserves a better round of applause," I would say. Let me welcome Shell, always represented by our own very energetic, as you heard, great man, the words of the chairman, Ron Cochran. We have representing Total. I like to refer to him as chief, but he always says he's chief in the making. Chief Gweke Ajaifia, Ogane Gweke. We should ordinarily have Giorgio, but this was rather tight and short notice, so he's unable to be here today, and is ably represented by Engineer Mayane. Thank you for that, but if I give you my native name, you will, so please bear with me. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must recognize 3 other special people who have made this day possible today, starting with the project director in person, Engineer Ali Uwais. Ali. This is a project that has many faces, and as you probably will find out by the end of this program, we're coming to the end of one phase, into another. To have brought us to this phase took a lot of sweat, hard work, sometimes tears, I'm told, but thank God there was no blood. I want to really appreciate and recognize Mr. Chris Cooper. They want to see you, chairman wants to see you. Chris Cooper. Chris led the front here in thank you. We have the business opportunity maturation manager who really was the integrator and continues to be so into the next phase. He worked so hard. It's very important I say this because sometime in April last year we had a conversation, a very difficult one, even though he's a good friend of mine, and I said to him, if we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel by October, then there is no project and perhaps there will be no you. Yeah, sometimes as MD, you have to put your foot down. I'm very happy to say that the man is here, which means that we actually have a project. Engineer Suleiman Umaru has really done a great job. Really, really done a great job. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is a very, very important day in the life of our great company, Nigeria LNG. This is the beginning of a new era, a new phase that refers to our ambition for growth. We have been talking about Train 7 for a long time, but quite frankly, until last week, precisely on the 3rd of September, when we submitted our commercial bid summary to the executive secretary directly by hand of the NCDMB, and then extracted his promise to help us turn things around, I can tell you we were still a bit in the limbo. But I really must recognize their effort. It took us almost 3 months to pull that commercial summary together. But ladies and gentlemen, it took them less than 3 days to. I must not miss out the engine room that powered that quick turnaround. As they told us, very unprecedented. Typically, if we took 3 months, they would, as a minimum, ask for about the same time. But to do it in 3 days really was Engineer Paul Zombe. Paul, really, really, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. But here we are. Today we make a great progress to issue what is the letter of intent. Intent, as it connotes, a very clear statement that we are forging on. You may be wondering why I have talked about the people on my right. In the interim, please let's accept them as people, if you don't mind. So this gathering is to sign the letter of intent, which is a very positive statement that we have now selected a preferred bidder for our engineering, procurement, and construction scope of the Train 7 project. But before I say more, I really want to recognize the two entities that have worked with us from the beginning, delivering the feed and participating in the EPC tendering. As you would expect, one entity is not here today, but we must thank the two of them until I name the ones that we're going forward with. As we issue the letter today, we are moving even closer to the final investment decision. A few people would perhaps be saying this is the final investment decision. I would like to put it on record that this is declaration of intent and essentially committing to a contractor who will go forward with us. So while I appreciate the board, I want to assure you that Nigeria LNG, with the support of our chairman, the entire board, and our shareholders, NNPC, Shell, Total, and ENI, we stay committed to growth. And this growth is very important because the market is changing. And this is Train 7, which is really moving us from 22 million tons capacity of our 6 trains today to 30 million tons, essentially about 35% increase in capacity. And I think that deserves a round of applause. We are working to achieve this project within a 4 to 5 year period, and we hope that by the end of October, we should be signing the final investment decision to stay competitive. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel so elated, and I'm personally proud of the company and everything we have achieved together. This company is also celebrating another very vital and crucial milestone. We are 20 years this year in steady, safe, and responsible operations. This is our 20th anniversary. It is also our 30th anniversary of incorporation as a company. 1989, May 17th, we were incorporated as Nigeria LNG. So this year we call 2030, and for those who have seen it, it's a complimentary card. It says Nigeria LNG 2030, and that's, again, another major milestone that we're celebrating. Our greater joy is that Train 7 will move from the front-end engineering phase into what we refer to execute in engineering parlance, but essentially detailed design and construction. And this phase will attract almost $7 billion or more. If you add the upstream scope, you're talking $10 billion. So overall, this is a $10 billion project, including the upstream scope. And this, we believe, will boost the foreign direct investment profile of Nigeria. But more importantly, for those of us who are closer to the communities, this has potential to introduce more than 10,000 jobs. 10,000 jobs. I really repeat that for a round of applause. I want to really take the opportunity to thank the federal government under the very positive leadership of our president, and of course, the Minister of Petroleum, State for Petroleum, for all the support, but also the GMD, who is not here today. Please pass my regard to him. He continues to support, albeit in the background. We will be coming back to call for help as needed, but our ambition remains to take this final investment decision end of October. Ladies and gentlemen, When we started this journey, we had two consortia. One represented by SCD, we refer to them, the Saipem, Chiyoda, and Daewoo, and another called B7, represented by KBR, JGC, and Technip out of France. Mr. Chairman, we are now at a very critical point where the decision is made. I am very happy, first of all, to appreciate the team that we will go forward with, but I want to especially thank the B7 group, and I really invite a round of applause for them. Just in case you missed it, they are not here today. So that leaves us with only one option. And our preferred bidder, I am happy to announce, Mr. Chairman, with your kind permission, Board of Directors, shareholders, that today our preferred bidder for the Train 7 project go forward into detailed design and construction, commissioning and delivering what will be the best project in the LNG world is the SCD Group. SCD. Congratulations. Congratulations to Saipem. Congratulations to Chiyoda. Congratulations to Daewoo Jung. As well as Giuseppe Pederetti. I really congratulate you. And I'm sure the chairman will give you the marching orders. In the interim, my job is to congratulate you and look forward to a very, very safe project where we live the true values of Nigeria LNG and make sure we keep everyone safe. And we say zero means zero. We have gone almost 12 years without this project. If we have to kill someone to achieve it, then it's not important to us. So I must say it up front that safety is the most important thing to us at Nigeria LNG. It's important that we keep everyone safe and keep everyone respected. On that note, I really congratulate you and welcome you all one more time. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause again for the winning team. Congratulations. Thank you. I think that leads us straight to just getting some goodwill messages and remarks after such a wonderful announcement and a definite way forward. So I'll start by inviting our chairman, Long John, to please open this section of giving goodwill messages. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that applause. I thought it wasn't going to come. But thank you all the same. Well, I'm chairman here. So my MD and other directors, they are frontliners, you know, as you can see them, particularly Ron. Well, all other protocols are duly observed. I feel a deep sense of fulfillment at every progress we make towards achieving 27. On behalf of the shareholders, I express unreserved appreciation to every stakeholder, especially the federal government and the management of NLNG for every effort. Oh, I'm sorry. You are hearing me though? because from time, they in the hospitals, they know that my voice carries. All right. On behalf of the shareholders, I express unreserved appreciation to every stakeholder, especially the federal government and the management of Nigerian LNG for every effort to speed up this project. Coincidentally, in a few weeks from now, we will also be celebrating our 30 years as a business and 20 years in the liquefaction and export of LNG. The MD mentioned it earlier on. Well, 2030, it is all over the place. Our determination to achieve 27 has been sustained, and we can only continue to work towards actualizing the objective. That is why we have gathered here to issue the letter of intent for the engineering, procurement, and construction contract for the 27 project. I commend the management and staff of NLNG for showing such resilience that has brought us all to this point in the planning towards realizing 27. I assure every party involved in this project, especially the preferred consortium, which we now know as STG. So, SP, oh, SCD. Okay, SCD Group. Give them a round of applause. I also pray that our synergy will benefit all of us and our nation, Nigeria. I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. The next goodwill message would like to call on Dr. Mrs. Yemi Esong, who is representing the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timi Pre-Silva, who's not here. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you very much. Chairman, shareholders, directors, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm representing the Minister of State, but I'd also like to talk as a director of the board, because today I'm a very, very proud director. This journey has been a very long journey, and from the part of the board, I can say it was a very tortuous journey. A lot of arguments, a lot of directives, a lot of coming backs on issues. And so today, for me, is the first time that we can see that Train 7 is actually a reality. And the MD has already commented and commended a lot of people. But I think that really, on behalf of the chairman and on behalf of the Minister and Minister of State, I'd also like to commend the hard work the MD and the DD have done to get us all to this point. Please appreciate them. Thank you. I know it hasn't been a very easy journey because the chairman has put a lot of pressure on them. And I can assure you that the journey has been very long, but it has been very credible and very thorough also. And so I think the successful group, SCD Group, should actually be proud of themselves that they came out tops of a very, very rigorous process. So congratulations once again. I must let you know that our minister, who is Mr. President, has been looking forward to this project because one of the hallmarks of the next steps is to attract foreign direct investment. And I can assure you that he will be very glad today hearing that this project, this singular project alone, is going to attract over $10 billion into Nigeria. I think that will make him very proud of NLNG, and also the jobs that, the opportunities that will be open to the millions and of Nigerians waiting for opportunities to get something to do. This is very, very good, and it will make him very glad. I'm happy that we're all wearing very beautiful smiles today, and we can assure you that the statement the MD made about the end of October and FID would, judging by the remarks of the chairman and his walking stick, I can't find it anywhere around, but it's under the table. I can assure you that
specifically mentioning Ron Cochran, because when I first heard his name as a director of the board and they said the name is Ron, I said, I hope you're not running away. So that's why I remember the name. Other shareholders of the NLNG board here present, distinguished, most importantly also the SCD group. Now, when I heard the word SCD, I'm sure the MD can remember vividly what that means. It's a shell acronym for Sustainable Community Development. By choosing that acronym, Sustainable Community Development. It indeed gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to this record-breaking event that sets the target for signing the letter of intent for the NLNG Train 7 EPC contract. I concur with the Managing Director, Engineer Tony Atta, who always highlighted during our meetings that the stars are lined up for NLNG Train 7. And I must add that the alignment of the stars for this project is a record-breaking one. I say this because we came in here late March 2019 in another hall in the Hilton to sign off the Nigerian content plan. But we have been able to get to this milestone within 5 months. It is indeed record-breaking. Just last week, the managing director led his team to present the outcome of the commercial evaluation exercise carried out by NLNG as regards compliance with the Nigerian content requirements. I recall that we promised to revert to NLNG in a few days, but I'm happy to tell you that we did it in less than 48 hours. In other words, NLNG, if you want to do another project, just employ NCDMB. These are world-class benchmark on ease of doing business for projects of this size, and we are quite delighted at this record-breaking achievement. When we went through the Zabazaba project and we were able to complete the entire exercise within 1 year, we thought we had seen it all. But when we got onto this NLNG project, we did it much faster than that of Zabazaba. So it only keeps getting better. I must commend the leadership attributes displayed by the managing director of NLNG in standing firm on the need to subject the Train 7 project to the Nigerian content law. And I recall I was speaking to a couple of colleagues that visited me from Shell on other projects they are pursuing. I say, please go to NLNG and learn and study the strategy as you follow your project. I recall that when the board introduced the concept of service levies agreement as one of the tools to enhance the reduction in the long tendering and contracting cycle timelines, NLNG was the first to embrace the idea by signing the SLA with the board in May 2017. And I can assure you that you can see the benefits of that service level agreement that we signed. Today, that benefits are paid off through the dedication and commencement of the NCDMB and NLNG teams. Like we always say in the board, if there is no project, there is no local content. Our mandate is not to stop projects, rather we are set up to make projects happen. I recall my first meeting with the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources when he assumed office some weeks back. He said to me, Simbi, I want to sign 5 major FIDs within the next 3 years. And I want to do it expeditiously. But please don't do anything that will be against the law, but get it through as soon as possible. The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipri Silva, has this project as one of his focus areas to put an end to the drought of FIDs in the oil and gas industry in the last few years. Apart from the job opportunities and the accruable revenues from the multi-billion-dollar Train 7 project, the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources also sees the additional tonnage of LPG to be produced from Train 7 as a key benefit to reduce importation of LPG in the country. He is also excited that Train 7 projects attracts other upstream gas supply projects required to keep the NLNG train busy. The project opens up other development opportunities for some gas fields in the shallow and deep offshore acreages such as the HI, the HA, the HK, and the Opokuno Tuamo fields. The Honorable Minister of State has thus directed the ministry, but please do this within the ambit of the law. Permit me to share with you some of the opportunities to be provided by the Train 7 projects to the local businesses and investments. The NLNG Train 7 will deliver 100% engineering of non-cryogenic areas in country. The total in-country engineering man-hour is set at 55%, which exceeds the minimum level stipulated in the NOGIC Act, in line with our resolve to push beyond the boundaries of limitations. On fabrication, the Train 7 scope will bring many of our fab yards roaring back to life, with over 70,000 tons of in-country fabrication covering condensate stabilization units, tanks, pipe racks, flare system, non-cryogenic vessels, and many other spools and fittings. The benefit extends to site civil works on roads, piling and jetties, 100% local procurement of all low voltage and high voltage cables, non-cryogenic valves, protective paints and coatings, sacrificial anodes, and many other direct procurement for our local manufacturing plants. Those in the service industry are not left out, with the target to assemble over 70% of all non-cryogenic pumps and control valves in country. Other spin-off opportunities include logistics, equipment leasing, insurance, hotels, office supplies, aviation, haulage, and many others, just to mention but a few. The target job numbers are very exciting. I think the MD was a bit conservative in his numbers. At its peak, the project will provide over 40,000 direct, indirect, and induced jobs. Beyond this project, there is also huge scope for local businesses to build capabilities in the maintenance of LNG plants, especially in the areas of cryogenics. Let me use this opportunity to highlight to the preferred consortium, the SCD group, that we expect full implementation of the agreed Nigerian content level, scope, and level as contained in the approved Nigerian content plan for Train 7 projects, covering engineering, fabrication, civil works, local procurement, project services, logistics, equipment leasing, insurance, hotels, office supply, aviation, haulage, human capacity development, and to mention but a few. We are indeed excited that the NLNG Train 7 project will bring about great opportunities for the utilization of local goods and services, in addition to enhancing and developing new capacities and capabilities for local supply chain. Just to add, when the minister, from the minister to the Minister of State, we are pontificating on how to deal with some of the security challenges that we have in the Niger Delta. The only thing that came to their mind is job creation. And you can only create jobs if you take final investment decisions. So this is one of the strategic moves by this administration to address some of the insecurity problems that we see, particularly in the Niger Delta. Again, the focus of this administration, it's not to do things that are not sustainable, not to make pronouncements that are political in nature, but taking FID on Train 7 is a sustainable venture that we must keep up. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me congratulate the NLNG shareholders, NNPC, Shell, Total, and ENI on the achievement of this key milestone. I look forward to the celebration of the 30th year anniversary of the incorporation of the company and the 20th year anniversary of reliable production from NLNG. Ladies and gentlemen, words will fail me if I do not commend again the MD for his dexterity, his focus, and determination to get this across the finish line. I also commend the board for giving him all the tacit support that needed to get us to this level. Let me then commend my colleagues on the board that took this seriously in line with our mandate to work with NLNG to get this project across the finish line. As you can see, with the way NLNG is set up, this process went through NLNG and NCDMB, perhaps why it came out very fast. However, we hope to replicate this in other ventures and activities that we participate in. Once again, Thank you all for the various roles you played in getting us to this point, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very, very, very much, Engineer Simbi Wabute. Very detailed. This is a master class on local content for NCDNB. Okay, we're going to go to the high point of this morning, the reason why we are here. And we'll go into the signing ceremony, after which we'll continue with the goodwill messages from our shareholders. I'll call on Aka, our legal advisor and general counsel, to take this session of the program. Please, ladies and gentlemen, a better round of applause. What has just happened represents reality, represents the reality we've been waiting for. 12 years of a dream has become reality today. So it's a wonderful moment. So I think we'll continue with the goodwill messages. Congratulations on behalf of NNPC.
Good morning, the chairman, NLNG board, and other directors here present. The permanent secretary, Dr. Yemi Esand, representing the Minister of State here today. The executive secretary of NCDMB, and my big brother, good morning. Managing director and deputy managing director of NLNG, and other executive management of NLNG, good morning as well. And then, of course, our winning consortia, a very good morning and congrats. Before I start, let me say the GMD of NNPC, Alam Kolo, Mele Kyari, the CEO Gas and Power, Engineer Yusuf Man, would have loved to be here this morning to witness what we just witnessed now. But of course, due to work exigencies and other assignments, they are not able to be here today. But I would like to pass on to you their goodwill messages and to affirm to you their continued support for the NLNG Trans7 project. So please accept their goodwill messages on behalf of other NLPC. This is indeed a very big milestone as we just witnessed the signing of the LOI. And I'm very pleased that I'm the first person to speak after the symbolic I will have to say NNPC is quite passionate about the mission. As we all know, apart from being the 49% shareholder in the company and dividends and other benefits that we're going to get based on the expansion, NNPC is equally very passionate about the economic development that Trans7 will bring to Nigeria as a whole. And having said that, we're truly ready to keep supporting company for doing this nice work they're doing. We're truly ready to work with our esteemed shareholders and discuss and close out all that is before us today. That by the 1st of October 2019, we will gather in a better room somewhere else and sign that dotted line. This is indeed the wish of NNPC as a shareholder, and I would like to affirm to you, ladies and gentlemen, all the support, all the discussions, all the alignment that is required to do to get the project ready for this monumental day, we are indeed ready to do so. And let me borrow the words of the GMD of NNPC in one of his statements. He said, NLNG Trans7 FID for 31st October 2019 date is sacrosanct. So, the thinking around NLNG, NNPC top management is Trans7 is already a done deal. What we will employ company, executives, and everybody else is to begin to think of the next expansion, Trend 8, Trend 9, or Trend 10. And indeed, we will back that out by, as I said earlier on, by discussing all team shareholders and company and every other stakeholders involved to get this project ready for that sacrosanct FID date. Before I finish, I would like to congratulate SCD for all the jobs and all the efforts they did. I remember when we went to the land on part of the technical work, you are quite receptive, and that is quite nice to see. And I hope we'll have that kind of arrangement and work together with you as we head towards the EPC phase of this project. Finally, again, please, let's meet here today by the 31st of October 2019. That is just the message from NNPC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call on Ron Cochran, representing Shell, to please give a goodwill message. Thank you.
So on behalf of Shell, first of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here. So Chairman of the Board, MD of the Board, Deputy MD of the Board, Madam Secretary, Simbi, as I've always known you, so forgive me for being informal. But, and the three persons that have become colleagues and that will become family, SCD, well, G family. It's a momentous moment. And on behalf of Shell, I'd like to thank all of you sitting at this table on my right, and all of you in this room that have contributed to this momentous occasion. It's appropriate that we talk about 2030 and another 30 million tons of LNG. It is also appropriate that we talk about what we bring in terms of foreign investment into the country and job creation. In the turmoil in which we live and all the uncertainty in the world, NLNG and its board and its executive management, with the support of the government in NPC and NCDMB, have seen fit to go ahead with investing in Nigeria. So on that note, I'd just like to thank you for giving us the opportunity, Shell as an investor, to invest in your country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to call on Weke Jaifia to please, representing Total.
Thank you very much. I would like to stand on existing protocol. First of all, I want to say Total is very proud to be associated with the Nigerian LNG for the last 3 decades. And of course, this company has turned out to be a big success story for Nigeria. The signing of the LOI today marks a very important milestone on the road to the FID of Train 7. And of course, NLNG projects have been very useful in developing the upstream gas projects in Nigeria, and also reducing gas flaring in the country, which is a key objective of the federal government. I want to say a big thank you to the government of Nigeria, to NNPC, for the opportunity to develop this project to another capacity. With the Train 7, obviously we are going to move ourselves from where we are today to about 4 in terms of global LNG production. So I want to say a big thank you to the management led by the MD, who has over the years shown robustness and ruggedness in pushing through this project, and also the board, of course. Total is really committed to Train 7. It's a key project in our global portfolio, and we believe that this project will bring additional value to the government of Nigeria, to the people of Nigeria, and will also continue to support this project. We look forward to FID in 2019, as has been said by others. Again, big thank you in relation to SP. You are a company in this country. I think you will bring value, as the Executive Secretary has said, to the Nigerian content. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to call, last but not the least, Maurizio Maiani, representing ENI. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank the Mr. Chairman, the LNG management, and the distinguished authorities for this very important day. Nigerian LNG is a very important component for ENI presence in Nigeria, and I believe that this is a very big success story of, say, integration, technical excellence, and national talent. Also, Train 7 is a good example, a very good example of long-term strategic view, managerial skills, and commitment. And I believe that it is the result of the good expertise which has been matured over the years with the operations and the business with the preceding and operational train. Actually, I believe that being here today is the result of a very robust project strategy, which was able to gain the full support and say sharing for all the shareholders. And I believe that it is fair to say that we should also acknowledge the big cooperation that we got from NCDMB, as say it was already illustrated. And I believe that this will be a very good occasion to demonstrate once again the commitment of Nigerian LNG and of shareholders to the development of the local industry as well. I do believe that there is a lot of challenges lying ahead, but we are, as shareholders, we are confident that this project will be successfully delivered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Those were goodwill messages and remarks from the 4 shareholders of the company. And now we are going to call a very important person, the newest member of the NLNG family, to give a goodwill message. But I'd just like to say that the pens on the table are very special. They've been made specially for this wonderful signing ceremony. So I hope we can use them to sign other things. I'd like to call on Mr. Walter Peviani to speak on behalf of the SCD Consortium. Thank you.
Chairman of the LNG Board, Chief O.R. Long John, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Yemi Ezan, Executive Secretary, NCDMB, Engineer Simi Wabote, distinguished board members, MD of NLNG, Mr. Tony Atta, Deputy MD of LNG, Mr. Sadiq Maibornu, NLNG shareholder, regulators, media press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm quite happy that they left me at the end, because in the last 2 hours we moved from people to colleagues to family. So this is quite good. But anyhow, it's a pleasure for our joint venture to be here today to this important event. Saipem, Choda and Daewoo are proud for being considered in the first place to participate in the FEED and selected today to continue the journey together with NLNG to the realization of this important project. As the world of the energy industry are facing energy transition, maximizing gas utilization against traditional fuel, we are eager to support Nigeria in unlocking this potential in the gas market. We wish also to thank NLNG and its technical advisor for the effective work performed since last year. Moreover, we would like to praise the management and the evaluation team for the absolute integrity and the confidentiality ensured along the step of the process. This is a further confirmation that Nigeria and Nigerian companies can position themselves among top-class energy producers. Having our JV, an aggregate presence in Nigeria exceeding 100 years, we are even more proud that this important project will be developed in compliance with the Energy City Act. This is another confirmation of the goals reached by the Nigeria oil and gas market and of the good of opportunity the Local Content Act has created in the country. I do believe that 10 years ago, it would have seemed and deemed impossible to develop a project with such technological complexity with this high local content quantum. The successful execution of the FEED with a strong integrated team comprising Nigerian and international engineers is a clear demonstration that with the right commitment, we can achieve limitless possibilities. We trust that during the execution of the project, we will have the opportunity, and surely we do have the commitment, to demonstrate our support to development of Nigerian contractor, our host community, and the local manpower resources. SCD is ready to start strong to deliver this project to Nigerians, in Nigeria, with Nigerians. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, as we bring this to a close, after the closing remarks, we'll be taking group photographs. Would please request respectfully that those on the high table remain seated and the photographs will be taken, will stand behind the different groups, will stand behind those on the high table. We'll have the shareholders and the board members as the first set, then the NLNG management team and the Train 7 project team, the Train 7 project team and the NLNG management. So please, I'd like to call on the Deputy Managing Director of Nigeria LNG, Alhaji Sadiq Mebronu, to give the closing remarks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayano. All protocols observed, Chairman, with your permission. On behalf of the management and staff of the Nigeria LNG, I hereby wish to sincerely thank you for making this event a success. I believe our issuance and signing of this letter of intent for the engineering, procurement, and construction contract to SED JV Consortium, our partners, is a strategic achievement that demonstrates our resolve to do everything required promptly and properly to achieve the final investment decision and indeed execute the Train 7 project safely and successfully. To this end, we have enjoyed tremendous support from the federal government, relevant regulatory agencies, and parastatals by no small measure. I must commend the Executive Secretary of Nigeria Content Development and Management Board, Engineer Simbi Wabote, and his team for their steadfast steer and efforts at ensuring that our plan for this project is compliant with every requirement in the NOGIC Act and within scheduled timelines. Other government agencies, including the Nigeria Ports Authority, the Department of Petroleum Resources, and the Federal Ministry of Environment, have shown so much commitment towards this NLNG dream. I can boldly say they have done so with a unique sense of ownership. While thanking you for the gesture, I assure every one of you that as we actualize Train 7, Nigeria LNG will maintain the nation's place in the global gas market and continue to support the development of our domestic LPG consumption through our commitment of 350 million tons of LPG to the local market. I honestly appreciate our board of directors and our shareholders for contributing immensely to every milestone we have achieved towards this goal. Thank you for your invaluable steer. I must also thank the Train 7 project team, Chris, Ali, Suleiman, and their teams for their tireless commitment to the project. Every success achieved so far has been the product of hard work from all of you and your dedicated team members. Lastly, I acknowledge the consortia for showing such keen interest at working with us to achieve our target, Train 7. On behalf of Nigeria LNG, I thank all of you for the zeal you demonstrated to assure us of your expertise to handle the project. So in closing, I guarantee us that our eventual success at Train 7 will ultimately engender in us a distinctive sense of accomplishment that together we made it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. So I think this brings us to a formal close, but we'll now take photographs. Please, for those not taking lunch in the next room, we expect that everybody will join us for lunch for this to be a proper celebration. Nigeria is known for hospitality, so you must have lunch before you leave. So I'd please like to respectfully call the shareholders and the board members to please stand behind them for the first group photograph.
Looking good. Yes, please. Just a minute.
Train 7 project, please. Train 7 project.
Because that way I'll know the sequence of speakers. That's right. Don't be lie. You're welcome.
Okay, this is the EPC for extended management NLNG staff. Served in the. Please let's have a look. NLNG, can we the next room?
See this man.